Alright, so we've got a guest with us today, Orlando Christopher.
Hola.
Yeah, and me, your good bald buddy. We're going to have a whiskey that everyone can get their hands on. I know we did some rare exclusive stuff with Fireball last time, and I know you can't get your hands on that, nor should you ever want to get your hands on that. But old Jack Daniels, you know, for a whiskey that is as popular as it is, nobody ever does. I don't know how familiar you are with whiskey review thing. Nobody ever does a review on Jack because it's just Jack. It's a staple.
Because I think it's kind of the thing that you would compare it to, right? Like when you think of trying whiskeys, you're like, okay, well, how does it compare to Jack? Right.
Yeah. So I mean, let's give it a shot. Let's have a pour, and we'll get into some more complicated stuff, especially today because Orlando is actually a whiskey drinker.
I am a whiskey drinker, but I'm also a cheap drinker, so I drink everything. So we'll see how this goes.
Well, you'll enjoy this one. You know this one.
Oh yeah, I'm happy with Jack.
So essentially, Jack Daniels is a Tennessee whiskey. It's actually bourbon. The reason Jack Daniels is different than a bourbon, they do one additional step that a bourbon doesn't do. Now, to be a bourbon in the U.S., for those of you non-whiskey people that are just watching because we're attractive men, I think so. A bourbon has to be aged for 2 years in a new American oak barrel. It's got to be at least 51% corn or more to be classified as a bourbon. Now, Jack Daniels has all of that, but they do an additional step. So after it's been distilled, after it's been aged, before it's bottled, it goes through a charcoal filtering process. So it changes the chemistry, and they call it Tennessee whiskey. There's only one or two other ones. I think George Dickel has a Tennessee whiskey as well, but it's essentially bourbon. All the same stuff that Buffalo Trace or
like Bill Nye of whiskey.
I know whiskey.
You're like Bill Nye of whiskey.
When I decided to step off the deep end to alcoholism, I wanted to make sure that my leap into alcoholism was well informed. Right? So
it's very well.
Thank you.
I work at a bar and I don't know half the shit you just said, nor will I remember it.
And that's good because if none of it's true, then we can just, you know, it's baffling with bullshit and dazzling with brilliance or something or other. I think.
That's a line.
But it is something, yeah. So I have a sip here.
Yeah, like this is to me what whiskey tastes like. Like
Jack Daniels.
Like I was saying, this is what you compare other whiskeys to. Like when you think whiskey, this is what you think. This is what you think it tastes like.
Now let me show you something. So originally we were going to film these and talk, maybe doing 3 different videos. We'll just maybe get the comparison out here now since we have the Jack in a glass. Let's, while it's here, I'll show you a drastic change. So, you talk about a staple, this is apple pie, this is, I mean, everyone knows it, everyone loves it. Let's go to something that's a little more challenging. There are a lot of peat heads out there. I'll tell you a little bit about peat. This is cool because
I love how much knowledge you have.
So with RJ and I, there was so much tomfoolery going on. There was really no time to talk whiskey. So a Scotch, to be Scotch, it's made in Scotland, right? So this is a single malt Scotch whiskey from Islay. I-S-L-A-Y, it's Islay. A lot of people will say Islay, they don't know whiskey. Islay. That's the region in Scotland that it's made in. All right. I'll ignore some of the other stuff. 10-year aged, so it's been aged for 10 years. Single malt basically means 1 grain. That grain is barley. So now, bourbon has 51% corn in the mash bill. Mash bill is like all the different grains that make the whiskey.
Bill Nye.
I'm telling you. So, Scotch is it's all barley. Okay. So it's 100% barley and peat. So what that means is how they germinate the grain as they would burn peat, like peat moss, peat, right? They would burn that to germinate the grain and to open the grain up and to crack it open before they would distill it. The peat gives it a smoky flavor. Now, Islay is one of the most aggressive regions for Scotch.
Yeah, you told me that.
So this here, this beautiful green bottle, for the non-peat heads out there, is going to taste like a hospital. It's going to taste like iodine, Band-Aids, decay, wonderful stuff.
Great.
It's fantastic.
Can't wait.
Oh, you're going to love it. So, it's easy to be a whiskey guy when you're familiar with the staples. And I think the staples, your Johnny, your Jim, Johnny Walker Red, I think is terrible.
I see a little bit of a color difference there.
There's a huge color difference. But I'll go ahead and give that a go. Smell that.
Wow. Yeah.
You smell that.
Wow, it smells strong.
So if you're getting overwhelmed by the alcohol, one thing I'd recommend: open your mouth when you nose it. It's just like when you're in a car and the one window's open and that air is just kind of like rattling. Open your mouth; it allows the alcohol to travel.
This smells like I should wash wounds. Like if you got a cut, you should probably pick up a bottle.
Yes. Ardbeg. And this is, typically a $50 price range, and we all know Jack. Ardbeg and Lefroy are the two big ones for the heavily peated Scotch. So
are we gonna try this?
Yeah, go right ahead. Let's see. How do you feel about that?
Definitely burns more.
Yeah.
Definitely still feels like I should wash wounds with it.
Yeah.
And now even more so. I'll tell you what, it was different, and I've never felt when I drink whiskey once in my life, is it actually burned my eyes. I've never had that happen to me ever in my life. I literally feel this in my eyes when I have another sip.
Now, before the camera was rolling, we were two or three whiskeys in, and to really appreciate a lot of these, they piggyback off of each other. So it's recommended maybe have a water to kind of cleanse your palate in between. But much like food, anything else will change the taste of a whiskey. This guy here, I like it. It's a little aggressive.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. The scent is almost stronger than the taste.
Yeah.
Like, in a way.
Yeah.
Like if you smell it, you're like, oh, I definitely should not put this in my body. But then you drink, you're like, oh, all right, I can drink this.
It's that.
But maybe
it's
that's just the
terrible.
alcoholic in me.
Yeah, but for $50 a bottle, if the alcohol is what you're pursuing, you're better off sticking to one of these guys or a good old tried and true Evan Williams here.
Right.
But for a Scotch, it's a heavily peated Scotch and it's a little more aggressive. Now, there are a whole line of different types of Scotch, and RJ and I had Sheep Dip.
Oh yeah,
It's actually a Scotch. I believe it's a Highland Scotch. So it's not not as smoky or aggressive as the Ardbeg is here. So
Yeah, it's definitely not bad. Like I would drink this, to be honest with you. But you do have to overcome the scent. Like I have to just restate that because you guys don't understand. This smells like I need to clean something. Like this smells like I should pour this on the table and clean this bar right.
I mean, to me, it's.
But it's smoother than I expected.
Yeah.
Like I thought it'd be, besides the burning, like it's like a. So it goes down a little smoother than you'd expect.
Once you get past the antiseptic and the iodine and the Band-Aids.
Yeah.
And the dressings.
Minus all that, it's smooth.
The open flesh wound.
Right.
So Ardbeg, if you've always wanted to lick a hospital floor and get drunk doing it, it's probably the one to go with, I think, huh?
Right.
So now, you had the aggressive one. We got old Jack here, our standby.
Yeah.
We'll pull these glasses down. I don't want to pour anything in this because now it's not going to be quite the same. Let's go ahead and just do 3 right here. Do one big long video, exactly what I said we weren't going to do. But screw it, it's working.
We can edit it.
Yeah. No, I don't typically do that, so be careful what you say.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I cut out all that bad stuff we were saying in the beginning.
Yeah, we didn't turn the camera on for that. Don't want to bury a bunch of people, record it, and then get drunk and say, screw it, you know what, they need to know our opinions. And then put it out there. We were probably saying a lot of bad things about you. If you think we're talking about you right now, we probably were.
Yeah, probably were.
Yes, so.
100%.
There's just not going to name names.
You can figure it out.
So, let's see. You had mentioned that you like cigars a little bit.
Yeah, mostly It's a Boys.
Yeah, that's a good brand. It's a good brand. You're guaranteed to have one or be given one at least a couple times in your life. So I'm not gonna. I know quite a bit about cigars as well, but we're not gonna dive too deep into that. We'll just go with this is a sweeter cigar. We'll stick with that here. Do you want me to cut it?
Yeah, you cut it. You're the pro. And I'm used to its voice, so you don't have to do this with those.
No, are they pre-cut? The old It's a Voice.
I thought they were, but
Maybe they are. Maybe they are. So with a cigar, two ways you want to light it.
Okay.
Either matches or butane lighter. Right?
Okay.
I like matches. They're cooler, but we'll go butane because it's here. So when you light it, and cigar, you always hold it in your teeth.
Yeah.
Right? So you light it. Just kind of warm it up a little bit, and then start at a corner and rotate.
I'm not going to remember this.
There you go.
Die. How do I like this?
Just push it in.
There.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
That's smart.
One more to go. Just spin it like a quarter.
I'll figure this
turn
out,
each.
guys.
You'll get it. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time. More time than money. Almost there. Now rotate it a little bit.
This?
There you go. I get that side. We look like Kingpin here in a minute. There you go. Alright, so another thing factor in. You factor about a puff a minute. Any more than that, and you start to heat the cigar up. So 1 puff a minute, and you don't inhale it. You can.
If you're a real man, but not me. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
I used to inhale cigars.
There's something about the visual of smoking a cigar I like. This is
very
just
phallic.
right, and
It's got that.
yeah, that's what I was going for. The
Yeah.
very phallic.
Yeah. Nothing better than putting a big log in your mouth. You know what I mean?
When I feel like I smoke a cigar, I feel like I should be handling business. Like, I feel like I'm like it's like, yeah, man, fuck that guy. Am I right?
Yeah. No. RJ kind of had the same thing. Would you like to wear a suit jacket?
No, I don't want to wear the same suit jacket. He looked too good in it. I won't look
He
good.
did. I didn't put mine on for this one either, so I'm doing the whole.
I'm wearing a fancy Nickelodeon
T-shirt.
T-shirt, so I
That's
think
good.
don't want to hide that.
Well,
Gotta
that's-
give them the plug. They need the rub.
That's kind of a rub to him too, because he worked on a Nickelodeon show.
Oh yes, you
We
did.
talked about this. Splat a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, RJ's far more charismatic than me. So
he's
sorry.
more charismatic than everybody that I know.
yeah, no, he is. He's a master charisma. I'm just white trash.
It's almost. You're,
I get this
you're,
at Walmart.
you're in good company. No, he's almost like a Muppet. You know what I mean? Like a Muppet. Like he's just so lovable.
Yeah, no, he is.
I never met the man before. He's here. He was actually walking down the street and I said, "Hey guy, you want to shoot a whiskey video with me? I know nothing about you." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then I fell in love with him.
Yeah, no, he's an adorable man.
He is. I'm devastated. I actually asked him to go steady with me. He turned me down.
You got those Nickelodeon bookings. Can't be settling down someone from Wyandotte.
Fantastic guy. Yeah. So now with our cigars, we had the Scotch. Which, you talk about businessman and have settled in business. Well, that's always with a Scotch too. Now it's typically in one of these old Scotch glasses, one of these whiskey, right? We drink out of the Glencairn because it's a nosing glass. It allows the alcohol vapors to kind of go to the side. You can get the real flavor out of the top of it.
Again, we're dealing with Bill Nye of
Getting into the whiskey
over here.
stuff, yeah. Well, you wouldn't think it. For a guy whose beer of choice is PBR, right? But this is, no, I'm telling you, when you dive off into the world of alcoholism, you go big or go home.
Well, you manage that, my friend.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
manage that very well.
I do that with just about everything that I'm invested in. Let's see. We had a Scotch. We had the old Tennessee whiskey here. We gotta end it out with one more good whiskey to pair with the cigar. I've got a couple bottles that I haven't opened yet, so I'm not gonna mention them. But there are some that are actually probably go really good with this. Hell, maybe we'll open ourselves up a new bottle.
Alright, where are we going with? Here
Let's
we go.
go. I'm a big fan of Blantons.
Okay, what is that? Tell me about it. I know you know.
I do. Blantons is actually So the master distiller found this one section of his warehouse that this magical whiskey barrel. You know, like the best stuff comes from this. It's every bottle. It'll be Rick 43 in it's a certain warehouse, warehouse H. So in this place, in this warehouse, he finds it's just the best place to have bourbon, and they always pour the Blantons from that spot. From those are the barrels. Blantons, it's not expensive. I mean, it's $60 a bottle, so it's a little pricey, but it's not terrible.
I like the cap. Bourbon. The cap has already won me over.
It is. They actually.
There's a man riding a horse on the cap.
There is.
For those that can't see.
And they're all different.
Okay.
They all have a different letter here, right? So when you spell out Blantons, they go through each, like the horse is moving in different, you know, like stages of running. So it's actually pretty cool. So we'll go with old Blantons here. This is a nice one for a cigar. I'd give you something more aggressive, but let's just have fun with this. Let's have something that tastes good. Now you'll get to see a bourbon that I feel, Blantons, it's good. It's a good classic bourbon. I enjoy it a lot. It's a little higher proof than the Jack Daniels. It's extremely rare.
Okay.
So it's allocated, which means that your liquor stores can't necessarily say, "Hey, distributor, get me Blantons." They don't have enough of it to evenly
So
spread
where
out.
would you get Blantons?
You'll get it from the liquor store, but like once a month they might get a shipment. They don't know. When it comes in, it comes in.
Okay.
They don't know if it's coming
It's
this
like a
week or
novelty.
next month. Now they're ramping up production, and you can get single barrels from them, so you're going to see more of it now that whiskey has had its popularity surge. But you'll get to compare a good $60 bourbon with old Jack Daniels here.
I just want to compare the scents.
You might notice a difference.
You can notice a little bit of a difference. The Jack just smells sweeter for some reason. But let's try it. Here we go.
Now you might get a little more of a bite out of this because it's a higher proof or alcohol content.
Yeah, you can feel that. But it's not a huge difference in terms of taste here, at least for me.
No, it's really
I'm the layman whiskey drinker. I'm the blue collar. You put it in front of me, I'll drink it. Not a huge difference like the what was the one we just had?
Lefroy?
Yeah, that one
Yes.
was. You could tell a difference.
Yeah, no, there are huge differences between it. This is subtle. I can pick up different notes in this one.
Well, now that
I
I just had a sip of the Jack again, and yeah, Jack just I guess is almost like just a hint sweeter, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm just making shit up as I go. I don't know.
Well, that's a lot of it. That's what it is, you know. You get some of these guys with, oh yeah, it's almond, toffee, shortbread cookies. But no, I certainly do get a little more sweetness, a little more sweetness from the Jack Daniels, and I think a lot of that could just be that the proof is higher. So like one thing you can do too, always recommend distilled water, right? Don't use tap water. Which one's your plants there?
Yeah.
Just do a dash. This could open up the flavor, and it will cut the proof down a little bit.
Shake it up. I don't think I'm shaking it up. I have to compare it to the Jack, so hold on. Let me clear the old palate. This is Jack again. Yeah, Jack's definitely a little sweeter. Like you can just taste it. Jack's a little sweeter. I don't think it has anything to do with the food.
You know, it's probably just your, it's what you love.
Yeah. I'm just used to Jack.
The ones you love are always sweeter to you.
It's
you
true.
know? Than the new girl coming to town.
I've had some bad relationships, but
This is
generally
tried,
speaking,
tried and true.
in the Bill Nye's world, yeah. But over in the layman's world, not a huge difference. But this one, to me, the Jack tastes sweeter. But again, it's just good.
There's not a huge difference. It's a classic bourbon, and this, in my opinion, is a classic bourbon too. However, it's a Tennessee whiskey because of the extra steps and the regulations. There are a lot of funny regulations with whiskey.
Okay.
By government regulations.
What do they do?
Something like bottled and bond, for example.
What does that mean?
So, bottled and bond means, and I've got a few of those. So it has to be made by the same distiller in the same distilling season, and the barrels themselves have to be guarded in a government monitored warehouse.
Where did you learn such information? I am so curious that you know all this.
I'm an introvert, and I do nothing but study my craft. And right now my craft is...
Someone's reading a lot of Wikipedia, is what he's saying.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I work at a bar, and I just drink the shit. I don't,
Yeah?
I don't have a good palate. I don't have a nose for this nosing. But this is fun. I'm enjoying drinking.
If you work at a bar, are you behind the bar at all?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your whiskey selection?
Honestly, it's usually JMO, you got Jack, there's usually a couple of the higher end ones, but nobody ever orders them, so I don't even think about them. And that's about it.
Okay, so what I recommend, you want to make some money, find one of the expensive bottles that you've got at your bar.
Ones that nobody orders. Yeah.
Read the tasting notes online, and then bullshit your customers to buy the expensive ones.
Ooh. Smart man right there.
Yeah.
He's
It's all about packaging.
Yeah, man, this
You
girl
had
has
both
got
of these.
financial tips and everything.
You had both of these. This is a $60 bottle. It's extremely rare and hard to come by. You got to get liquor stores to call you as soon as it shows up. And this one's $23 or $25 or something like that.
Right.
You don't notice a difference.
I can tell a small difference.
A little bit.
But I would not say that the average person at a bar is going to know the difference between these two. You'll definitely know the difference with the other one. The other one, it smelled like you should be doing something with it other than drinking it. Definitely should not have been drinking it. But these ones, you're probably not going to notice the difference if you're drinking.
Did you get plum in this one? No, seriously though. Did you get in Blantons? Did you get plum?
Let me try it. Plum?
Plum.
I don't know, but honestly, I can't remember the last time I had a good plum. Anyways,
I get plum.
I don't know who offers plum. I can't remember the last time I was at the grocery store. I was like, I'm gonna get some plums.
I got plum.
But I can't tell too much.
So, 3 whiskeys, 2 nice cigars. Well, decent cigars.
Yeah, I almost had mine lit.
You did. You did pretty well. I mean, pretty well with that for a while. Ultimately, though, what would your favorite be?
Well, I'm gonna stick with Jack for me.
Tried and true.
You just know what you're getting with it. I would drink the other ones. This one is just twice the price for the exact same, almost flavor.
Yeah.
The other one, I think you would have to be a whiskey drinker. Like, you have to be used to drinking whiskey to drink. You're not gonna want to just drink that with your friends.
You know, a lot of people, when they get into Scotch and they become peat heads, like in the beer world, right? You got the craft beer thing, you got the IPA guys, the hot heads, and whatever. It's the same thing with whiskey. Once you get into Scotch, and they work their way up from like your unpeated like the Brooklotic there, or you get to Monkey Shoulder or Highland Park, and you work your way up, and you get to the big Islas. A lot of people don't step away from that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was good. Like, I would drink that, but if you're a layman and you're just going to the bar trying to drink, I would avoid that.
Oh.
Now, if you're a professional whiskey drinker, then
alcoholic.
If you have a tad of alcoholism, if someone's ever told you maybe you should stop drinking, then you might like one of these.
There's a term for that. It's actually, so a professional whiskey drinker is a sommelier.
Oh, sommelier.
There's a term for that.
I'm learning so much today. This is as educational for me as it is for you.
So if you're going to a bar and you just want to have a good drink and you want to have fun, my guess is probably go Jameson.
Yeah.
It's Jameson on the rocks. Get a whiskey sour, Jack and Coke, you know, whatever.
But if you want to be a connoisseur or what's the word?
Sommelier.
Sommelier. Then you might want to try one of these.
Well, see, sommelier is almost like in wrestling. Like, you can be an experienced whiskey drinker. I'm not a sommelier, but I know a lot about whiskey.
You seem like a sommelier.
I know a lot about it. Now, to be a sommelier, you have to go through training.
Oh.
Right?
Well, I'm only in class 1 over here, guys.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You can know a lot about it, but you're not quite a sommelier unless you go and you pay somebody. It's like $5,000.
Is that okay?
It's a real thing.
You paid $5,000 to drink whiskey?
Mm.
Did you? Alright.
Hey, it's a business, man.
Well,
some people like the titles.
I'm not a sommelier. I'm just a blue collar guy that likes whiskey.
That's it.
And I'll stick with the Jack for now.
So, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We had some good whiskeys. And we'll get another video out to you soon. Maybe next week. I got a few guys that I'm thinking about bringing in.
Who else can we bury before this goes off the air?
We can bury all kinds of people. We'll let the camera roll when we're done. We all start bullshitting. And then if I find some good B footage, we'll put that out there too.
B footage were the best footage. The B stands for best.
Yes. Well, see, when RJ and I did our video, there was, the whiskey video. Then a few days later, I put the other stuff out where we were just talking about random nonsense. So we'll probably have one of those videos too. We'll just remember to not bury anybody because.
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So.
No guarantees.
We'll go. Do you have a toast you want, or can I? You want me to come up with something? Is there something?
You come up with something.
All right. Here's
Put me on the spot.
Yeah. No. Let's see. There's a good one that.
Keep nosing this, but I feel like I have to.
It smells great. I just love the smell. All right, so here's the fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you fight, may you fight for a friend. If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart. And if you drink, may you drink with us. See you next time.
That was good for being on the spot.
Yeah, it wasn't on the spot.
Well, it was good.
I stole that.